Just 2 days after the U.S. captured Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro, along with his wife, both expected to make their first court appearance in New York City later today. Contessa Brewer joins us now from outside of the courthouse. Good morning.
Morning, Andrew. We're in Lower Manhattan, and the countdown is on to Nicolas Maduro's initial public appearance right behind me here in federal court. We're expecting him to be arraigned at noon, criminally charged, prosecutors say, for an immense drug trafficking and corruption scheme that made Maduro's power grab possible. The Venezuelan president is facing conspiracy charges related to narco-terrorism and importing cocaine, as well as charges related to possessing machine guns and destructive devices. Maduro's wife, Celia, and his son are also facing charges, as is the Venezuelan Minister of Interior Justice and Peace. The former minister of the same department and the alleged leader of TDA, which is a transnational criminal organization, is also facing charges in this indictment. Prosecutors say TDA has a presence in New York and is involved in drug trafficking and human smuggling. And prosecutors say the Maduros and the others worked with FARC, one of the largest cocaine producers in the world. The ELN, a Colombian terrorism group, the Sinaloa cartel based in Mexico, headed by the notorious El Chapo, and the Zetas, another transnational drug group based in Mexico. Now, Saturday morning, we saw that U.S. soldiers had captured Maduro, but here you're seeing him in custody in New York, being brought inside the Brooklyn courthouse to face, inside the Brooklyn Detention Center to face charges. And this morning, he's already inside federal court. We saw that video, a massive military presence where they were bringing him. He had arrived Saturday evening at Stewart Air National Guard Base. That's about an hour north of New York City, where then they were booked in Brooklyn. And today, the Maduro's arraignment will happen before Judge Alvin Hellerstein. Why the Southern District of New York? This is the office that started building global cases against international cartels in the early 2000s. And this is where Maduro and his co-conspirators were first indicted. There have been 3 indictments. That investigation dates back to 2011. There you're seeing the military vehicle containing Nicolas Maduro backing into the federal courthouse, this back entrance. And by the way, blocks and blocks around this federal courthouse are blocked off now because of safety concerns. Massive police presence down here in Lower Manhattan, guys.
So one of the big questions, of course, is what is the precedence, and what are we going to hear both from the prosecutors and from his defense attorneys?
Yeah, well, for one thing, you heard Jay Clayton tell you this morning on Squawk Box, they don't know who is defending right now Nicolas Maduro. But Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez was arrested in his country in 2022, extradited to the U.S., tried right here in the Southern District of New York, and sentenced to 45 years for drugs and money laundering. A lot of experts have pointed out similar charges to what Maduro is facing. President Trump pardoned Hernandez in November. And then, of course, you had Panama's President Manuel Noriega extradited to Miami in 1990 to face drug trafficking charges as well. And Judge Alvin Hellerstein, who's overseeing the hearing this morning, has also overseen consolidated tort cases by 9/11 first responders and property owners there. And of course, he oversaw music mogul Harvey Weinstein's civil case. So some pretty notable cases here. The line behind me that you're seeing right now, by the way, people waiting to get into the courthouse, it's been an unusual shift where they have been told, even people who waited overnight in these lines, that they are only allowing credentialed media into the courtroom today, not just onlookers and the members of the general public.